Michael, thank you very much for your presentation, exhilarating presentation, and clearly very, very knowledgeable. And for me, it begged questions about how media and communications may get involved in processes of, well, we've talked a little bit about reconciliation, but this is actually preceding, hopefully, potential recruits to atrocious activities. And it was the comment that you made about how we need to challenge some of the theological interpretation in hopefully as a way of diminishing potential support. I imagine that's your motive, which kind of suggests that there's a deliberative process at work here that could impact upon potential recruits. And I'm just wondering, I'd like to hear your thoughts a little bit more about that, whether there is evidence to suggest that the potential recruits who, to my understanding, may be wrong, are not necessarily working deliberatively or on a very deep theological level at all, but they're probably being, they're engaging, if that's the right word, through a kind of a charismatic cause which has sucked them in. And maybe deep-seated codes of masculinity are in the mix there too. So I'm just wondering to what extent this is open to deliberative and also a media and communication response that may actually be effective. So your thoughts on that would be very welcome.
I guess I'm quite traditional and old school in the sense that I don't actually think that the journalist's job is to counter-message or counter-propaganda the Islamic State. I mean, I think that if, for example, I thought that the body of the Hadith and the Quran was a cut and dry case in support of the Islamic State, I wouldn't advocate distorting that because I would prefer another message. I think that a broader and perhaps more honest harvesting of theology and prophecies, I advocate that because I think it's more honest reporting. I mean, the fact that might undermine the Islamic State's message is perhaps a happy collateral effect. But I think the journalist's job is to report the truth rather than to massage a message, even if it's a message that we deeply support. Regarding the effect that might have, it's a really good question you raised. And it's fascinating to look at Islamic State's propaganda because it is this mix of tabloid-like gore and deeply religious, granular religious discussions. And what draws more recruits, I don't know. I mean, I suspect a lot of people are drawn because of some of the themes that Winter highlights: the brotherhood, the sense of belonging, the bloodlust. I think that's no doubt important. But because this theology is so central to the media narrative they're putting forth, I tend to think that must have some sort of impact as well. Maybe not on people coming from the banlieues of Paris, but maybe in the wider online theological discussions. It's a source of potentially scholarly legitimacy, and perhaps undermining that has knock-on effects. I mean, I personally think the most damaging undermining of the Islamic State's message is actually losing territory, just because they've put so much emphasis on declaring the caliphate. I mean, that was what differentiated them from Al-Qaeda. But that's something that's beyond the ability of journalists to impact.